NSYNC's back. All right. Sorry, that was the wrong band. But hey, I'm still here, guys. I haven't left. I'm just I relocated to LA and things got a little bit interesting. But I still have my backdrop. I lost my flags. I don't know where they are, but we shall be good. You might be confused. You're like, who's that other person? I've seen him before, though. Well, guess what? This is not Fumble. Don't get it confused. This is not Fumble Podcast, which will come back soon. But this is a podcast. we're working on the name. So just watch this for now, okay? Just don't change the channel, okay? Just stay here. We're doing something fun. This is my bro, Mo, from Montreal, Quebec. We're going to try to do podcasts across 2 countries. And the whole point of this podcast is it's fun, it's lighthearted. You've seen Mo and I in a bunch of projects. Mo, you can speak whenever you want, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, yeah, we kind of have become really close over the last year, and my whole goal was to do this right now, and then I was not going to talk to him again. But yeah.
No, it's been great. It's been you know what, man? I think I've known you for a little over a year now. And in the last 6 months, we've worked on a couple of projects together and all that. And this is exciting, because any chance that we can get together and just shoot the shit like this is a lot of fun. So
I love shooting shits. I need a fucking table, though. I don't even look at this, guys. This is as ghetto as it gets. I have my whole fucking. What's the point of the rest of this? I could just hold the mic. Yeah.
You look like you'd be crooning is what you should be doing right now.
Yeah. Now take me to a better place. Dude, I'm so psyched over this, bro.
You are.
Dude, I am so excited to see you excited. That's another lyric in the song, actually. I've already memorized it 3 times over. I already learned the choreography, and the music video is not even out yet. So I don't know how I did that. But yeah, I grew up with NSYNC, man. So yeah, let me just, this is going to be the vibe of this podcast. It's going to be, we're bullshitting around. We're going to talk about some current events. We're going to keep it light, which is the point, because all the other projects we've done, other than Ahmadi Festival, have been pretty fucking heavy for good reason, though. Those are important things. We're still going to continue to do those projects as well. The latest one was the Gina Day that most of you have caught. For our non-Iranian followers, however, you might not know about that, and that's okay. This is going to be the whole point of this podcast. And yes, we had a couple ideas for names, but we're working on that. But we said, why wait? Why wait till the perfect, like, that doesn't exist. So let's just start. Let's record our first episode. Let's be raw. Let's be real. Let's be honest. And I didn't say raw because it's Monday, and that's what's going to be on. Actually, it's on right now. But yeah, it's we've been talking about doing this podcast for actually probably like almost 3 months.
Yeah.
And so we're just like, fuck it, let's get started. So we're going to talk about some real issues, some serious topics, some pop culture references, because I'm your entertainer here that grew up with NSYNC. That's why that was the first thing I said. And I wouldn't say any other thing, because I might do a whole podcast just on this whole new single on Fumble. But for now, NSYNC reunited. Do you know 98 Degrees also reunited?
Right. So when you told me NSYNC reunited, and I was probably as excited as you would expect me to be about it, and I decided to go and Google, right? Because it's my best friend. I Google absolutely everything. I can't go through the day without looking up something up. And that's the first thing that came up, is that 98 Degrees was sitting down with, I forget the guy's name. He's the host that does all the Real Housewives and all that stuff. Andy Cohen. That's right. Andy Cohen. He was doing an interview with them a couple days ago. And they were talking about how NSYNC kind of stole their thunder a little bit. And they were bitching about this.
Bro, it couldn't be like, they both had 25 years to have reunions. And they both chose the same week. I love that. NSYNC wins again, because that's get a fifth member, 98 Degrees. Then we can take you seriously. All right, you guys are like you guys are $1 too short. No, I like 98 Degrees. They had some good songs. But
I was reminded of that when I looked them up today. I didn't remember any of their good songs, but I did. I was reminded that they did have some hits.
Yeah, they did have some hits. Yeah. I do. That was one of their big ones. Exactly. That was a song Nick Lachey fell in love with Jessica Simpson with, and then that was the end of 98 Degrees. Dude, yeah, it's crazy. Backstreet Boys has been back for a minute. They've been touring, but I think it's just NSYNC was the sexiest, and I mean that in a heterosexual way. I mean, they were like. They were the most relatable, in my opinion, like as far as a boy band is concerned. Like I feel like there was one of us in that group, like from all, you had a Greek guy, you had you had Lance, you had and Lance was the bass, right? And they had like all 5 voices. And JC was my favorite always, not because he was from Maryland, but that was a bonus. But yeah, I just love his voice. I would fight my other like band members over his songs. I was like, I'm singing his part, and I didn't care about Justin. Yeah,
so I remember, like, I'm a few years older than you, right? So I remember Backstreet Boys was the band you weren't allowed to like, because people would look at you funny, right? As very, very fragile boys back in the day. Mm-hmm. And 98 Degrees was the one where, the guys who like singing the a cappella, and they were kind of trying to make their own little boy bands. They were the ones that were really into 98 Degrees. But NSYNC, you're right. That's the one that I think was my favorite too. If I can call one of them a favorite, that was probably one of my favorite too. But here's my question to you. Is Justin Timberlake now back with NSYNC, or is he not? Because I was confused when I looked at the single today. Because it says NSYNC and Justin Timberlake. It doesn't, right?
Fucking Justin Timberlake always has to put himself separate. No, I don't know. You're right. That's a great question, because it is, that's the $1 million question. Now, I've been following them on Instagram, and I've been seeing all their posts, like how they were in the studio. They documented all that, and they showed up at the VMAs this year, right. And Taylor Swift was as happy as I was when I saw that. And it was I'm going solely based on their choice of attire for that return on the stage. They were all wearing like complementary colors, right? Like to each other. They were like the 5 colors. And then Justin, of course, had his own little accent to his clothes, like as if he needs to stand apart anymore. Yeah. But if I sound bitter, it's because I am. But my 14-year-old heartbreak is coming back. But no, Justin's.
I think we need to hear about this 14-year-old heartbreak. Is what we need to hear about.
Dude, it was, bro. Listen, I was having my own tour of NSYNC songs, like while NSYNC was like on top of the world, like amongst my family and like every mehmuni that I was invited to, I was singing This I Promise You or Bye Bye Bye. I'm not joking you. Sometimes I wasn't even wanting to do, I didn't even want to do it. And my dad was like, Pejman, bro, do the NSYNC dige. I was like, yeah, he was so proud of me and my one-man band.
They love making us perform, right? That was always
right. Yeah. Dance. It's like that scene in Nacho Libre. That was our lives.
Dance for me.
Yeah, dance for Ramses. Oh, for fuck's sakes! But yeah, that was, and I would hate it at first, and then I'd get into it, and I'm like, hell yeah! And then like my uncle was like trying to come in. I'm like, bro, stay out. It's not yours. Yeah. Like you had your chance. So 14, I'm like entering high school, right? It's like 2001 was a crazy year because a lot of shit happened for me, okay? And not to bore you and the crowd, the 5 people who are listening, I had my worst car accident that year. 9/11 happened, and NSYNC broke up all in one. Like it was like everything. Like I know those
And
are
for those
different levels.
4 people that are now still listening, that was not presented in any sort of order of ascending or descending importance. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were just like, remember, I had my 14-year-old mind was a lot more pure.
Yeah.
So I equated for a moment NSYNC breaking up was a little bit more traumatic. But of course, 9/11, very important event that changed history, changed the world. But yeah, it was just a lot of that shit happened. My car accident, everything. Like, I almost feel like I had my car accident, woke up in the hospital, and like my life changed. Like everything, I was like, wait, NSYNC is ending? What? Like, because Justin had already come up with his solo song. JC tried. God, did he try to have his own solo career? And I like the songs, man. I was rooting for him, but it was always like, even the NSYNC fans and Justin fans were like, this is great. Justin's amazing. He's blowing up. And then he got into acting, all that. But it's like, yeah, but when are you going to, like, when is NSYNC? Like, where are the other 4? Like, it was always in the back of everyone's mind.
They're going to come in any moment now. They're going to come in. Yeah.
They're going to come in, right? And then they just didn't do it for like 10 years. And 12 years to actually, because then in 2013 they had Justin's performance had a special appearance by NSYNC where I lost my shit and I texted all my childhood friends and I was like, dude, they're back. And then no, just that was a one time. And now fast forward till today, 10 years later, this feels like it's different than the other like teasers, you know. And so, and in their interviews, like they actually did like interviews with the band on Hot Ones. I don't know if you watch that show, the Hot Wings. It's a wing, like they eat hot wings and they have it got popular like over the last 5 years, 5-6 years. Shaq has been on it. Yeah, I
don't think that one made it across the border. I don't think that.
Ah, Jesus, because you guys never are hot. That's why it's like everything's cold over there.
It's all maple syrup. We don't do well with hot sauce.
We don't do spicy well. Is there spicy? Like, is spice like having spicy food? Is that like a common thing up there?
There's white spicy, and then there's everything else. Like so I live in Quebec now. Originally from Vancouver. Been in Quebec for for like what 7 years now about. Quebec is a whole different beast, right? That's the French province up here. It's it's like a semi-apartheid state. It's pretty nasty, but they consider things spicy that I have no idea what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about. So spice does not exist here. You'll already go get Indian food and you'll ask for you want that spice. Yes, absolutely. Make it spicy. It comes out. It's bland. It's like pea soup is the consistency and taste. But but in Vancouver it was different. Vancouver has like a real it's got a major Asian vibe and a lot of really amazing chefs coming over from like Singapore and Hong Kong and bringing flavors in and there's a huge South Asian population in Vancouver as well. So absolutely.
Okay.
You got the
Vancouver
spice.
Seems to be Vancouver sounds like it's more diverse.
Absolutely.
Or yeah. All right. Well, I wasn't talking about any of those spices. I was talking about like hot wings, but that's fine. It's anyway, he's the historian of this duo. I'm the clown. So we're gonna attempt to talk about historical events. We're going to talk about current events. We're going to talk about what we want to talk about. And the point of this show is that it's going to be a vibe and you're going to want to just, at least I think my goal is like to create a ambiance where people want to be part of this conversation or just want to be like in the room, right? We're not even in the same room. So that's how good we are at this. But yeah,
and we so want that to happen that eventually I think that's what we had talked about, right? Is actually having people join that conversation. And
that's right. We're going to have guests and not just, we will have topical guests. We'll have just guests that are, on the news or are, hopefully for good things. But, we're not
working on getting Trump.
Trump is, he's going to have his one phone call is going to be onto this show.
Absolutely.
And, this is the best prison ever.
I promised him we'll post his bail this time, so he'll probably call.
Yeah, we'll bail him out in Canadian dollars, which will keep him in jail. Yeah. By the way, are you fluent now in French, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I've always spoken French. What they speak here in Quebec is barely considered French. I absolutely. So, all right, I'm going to defend this before anybody this side of Ontario decides to lose their shit. I had a friend who was working here in Quebec from Paris. So Parisien, French man, came over here, and we were having dinner one night, and I just decided to ask him because I would look at people, and the further you would go out from Montreal. So Montreal is kind of the more cosmopolitan, also English speaking part of the province. And as you start moving out, the accents just get outrageous, right? They're just absolutely, think like Appalachian Mountains type, like that. That's the kind of vibe you're getting as you're kind of heading out of town. So I wouldn't understand anything that people are saying. And I've been speaking French since I was 4 years old. And I turned to this guy and I go, and his name was Jean, because 80% of French guys are named Jean. And I say,
a Mohammed and a Jean was talking.
Exactly, right? Pretty typical. Yeah, pretty stereotypical, right? So I turned to him, I go, do you understand? Like, do you get it? And he's like, absolutely not. I have no idea what they're fucking talking about. And so I felt a lot better at that point, right? And I go, okay, good. All right, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. So do I speak Quebecois? I do not, because there's a lot of slang and colloquialisms here. Yeah. And in their defense, they call it the King's French, because the French they speak here in Quebec is actually the French they spoke when they came over and colonized this lovely land. And subjugated its people. So we're not going to get into the really depressing side of that story right now, but what we'll stick to is the fact that, so what they were speaking is actually the French that was spoken in France back then. Then a body was created called Alliance Française, which their job was to basically clean up and, codify and make, a single branch of the French language, like the official French, kind of like the Queen's English in England. And so they kind of cleaned up French, and it changed, it evolved, and it became something different. And so here they still maintained the King's French, which is what they called it. And so, it's very different. There's a lot of colloquialisms. There are little bits of English that have kind of crept in there over the years here in Canada, but it's quite unique. This is the only place in the world, in the French-speaking world, where KFC is not KFC. So in France, you go to KFC. In Senegal, you'll go to KFC.
In Iran, you go to KFC.
In Iran, you go to KFC, but it's not really licensed, and and they serve you sandwiches. It's not even chicken. Like they completely missed the memo on that one. I remember going to Subway and they had burgers in Iran. Like you make sandwiches, just make a sandwich, take a trip, and then come back and decide to rip off a chain, right? But
oh my God,
so here it's called PFK. They translated Kentucky Fried Chicken, poulet frites Kentucky. They translated it, and it's PFK in Quebec. Even the French are like, "What the fuck, dude? Just call it KFC. Like, we have no problem with this." But so Quebec's got a bit of a.
So it begs the question: why do you guys hate everyone?
In Quebec or in Canada? Which one?
You guys hate everyone. Like anything that's normal, you guys want to say, "Nah, we're going to do it different."
That's Quebec. That's good. And that's why I said Quebec has kind of got this low-key apartheid system going on. And I know that's what does low-key apartheid mean? But low-key apartheid essentially means during the pandemic,
everything was closed for apartheid.
Exactly.
They use low-key all the time. Yo, I'm low-key hella pissed right now.
But so mid-pandemic, things have been closed for 6 to 9 months. No one's making money. Businesses are going under left, right, and center. Yeah. There's a government body here called the Office of the Quebec Language, the Quebec Office of the French Language, but OQLF in French. And their job is basically to go around and harass people for not using enough French. That's essentially their mandate, is go around and get people in trouble and fine them if they're not using enough French. So they actually, I remember reading this article, again, mid-pandemic, businesses are going under. They fined this poor bastard $5,000 because on his menu, he had the word espresso. And they were trying to argue that the word espresso is not French, and therefore you get fined $5,000. And this guy was sitting in the picture of him looking just really like sad and surprised in the newspaper, holding up this ticket. And he's like, my store's been closed for 6 months. I don't know why they're fining me, but yeah. Yeah. So this is what I mean by that low-key apartheid. You go to the government offices, and I'm sure it's like this down in the States as well. I'm sure Southern California, absolutely. You go in and they'll have a sign and they'll say, we proudly speak Spanish and English and maybe some Cantonese or Mandarin, and and they have that sign up. You go to a government office here in Quebec, and all it says is, in Quebec we speak French. That's literally the sign. So,
but it's in English.
No, it's in French. No, it's in French, of course.
That would be hilarious if it was.
Yeah, if it was in English, yeah, that'd be pretty funny. But yeah, just no, they don't give any shits. It's basically in Quebec we speak French.
Yeah, it's a very Islamic Republic of them.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like a couple morality police incidents away from being. So what's the people's vibe there? Like, are they like, do they want it to be more chill, or are they like, no, we carry this with pride?
So there's both. And I have to be fair, right? To be fair, up until the 70s, it was the other way around. So there was like an English minority that ran roughshod over the French population in Quebec. And if you were a French speaker and you couldn't speak English, it was hard to get a good job. It was hard to get ahead. And then there was a big terrorist crisis, the Front Libération Québec. It was like this terrorist group that trained with the IRA. Their militant front actually trained with the IRA and were sympathetic with them. And in the 70s, they there was some armed conflicts, there was some bombings, that sort of thing. And then everything kind of switched. And Quebec got its nationhood, right? It's not its independent country, but it's its own nation within Canada. And things switched. So you have a little bit of that change in fortune, right? Where it's kind of like, well, now the shoe's on the other foot. This is what happened in Somalia. This is what happened in a lot of places around the world. That group that was subjugated for so long is now in power, and they're going to run things the way that they wanted it to be run from the beginning. But you still have a large English population in places like Montreal that are very dissatisfied, underserved. And you'll see it. Like, you get into the English areas, the highways aren't as good. You get into the English areas, the schools don't get renovated as often as the French schools do. So there is a lot of that. There is a lot of that going on. They're shutting down English colleges and shutting down spots and increasing the French ones. If you are an immigrant and you move here, you have to go to a French school. You have no choice in the matter. The only way my daughter was able to go to an English school is that I went to an English school, obviously, when I was in Vancouver, because that's an English province. So she's a historical English speaker, historical Anglophone, and she was able to do that. But otherwise, they force you into the French system, and they're really trying to do that. If you come here on immigration, you have to be able to speak French. If you don't, they'll kick you out in 5 years if you don't speak French well enough and you came through the Quebec system. So it's,
5 seems to be the theme of today. There's 5 members of boy bands. That's why we didn't count 98 Degrees. That dude got charged $5,000, and now 5 years is the limit. And then $5 footlongs in Iran, which are just hamburgers.
They're just hamburgers. They're neither footlongs or
they don't even count in feet over there.
Exactly.
Oh my God. This kind of reminds me of like us. We were texting earlier or WhatsApping earlier, and we were talking about the name for this podcast. And I was like, let's call it Oily Borders. You guys kind of are oiling each other up with all these different cultures, like trying to cancel each other, which is hilarious. That's like here in LA, there's like so many subcultures. But I think the only difference is on like on their social media, they'll be proud of like their culture, or they like throw a reel on their pages, but behind the scenes, like they're all going to each other's restaurants. Like no one like gives a shit. Like everyone, like Armenians love Iranian people here. Iranians love Armenians. Then you have like Koreatown, like all the Koreans. Like I see so many Koreans here, like at my work, and then but where I work is a Jewish school, so it's like it's like everything is mixed. It's just like this fun little mix of cultures. Obviously, there's still like, if you look at the history in LA, there's obviously a lot of racism that's happened. But I think the younger generation, the Gen Zs, and whatever comes after that, do they go back to A? What happens after Gen Z? We just don't.
My daughter told they do go back to A, but they're calling them Gen Alpha, which just sounds so toxic, right?
Listen, no one's better than anyone, all right? Calling them Gen Alpha is kind of like, that's kind of insinuating. Like, what's the one after? Gen Beta? Like, I feel like suicide rates are going to go up. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't move to Seattle also and then be a Gen Beta. That's just a bad combo. Nirvana, baby. Okay. Anyway, so Gen Zs, I feel like, are changing that, like, which I love. But and I feel like millennials are kind of like, we are the hope. Like, we're the hopefuls out of all the generations previous to Gen Zs, because we're like, we're doing what our parents didn't do, which is be open-minded. So that's,
we're the buffer. We're in Farsi. I'll say the polite one. Chube dosa tala. Okay.
You are speaking like 6 languages, so it's fine. Yeah.
But they say chube dosa tala, and well, the real is chube dosa ani, but that's really us, right? Right. And for those that don't speak Farsi, it's a stick where both ends are shitty, and that's essentially what we are, because we had those narcissistic, like, money crazed generations that came before us that didn't give two shits about the environment or what really happened after them. And then we had our kids and the ones that are coming after us that, we saw but the generation that came after us, you see them, you see my kid.
My Gen Alphas are going to be so beta, bro. It's not even going to be, they're going to be so bad. They're going to like destroy this world because they have my mind. But anyway, continue.
So and we tried to fix it, and I feel as though we kind of got screwed on both ends. We had to go through what we needed to go through to make things better for the next generation, right? Like the housing crisis, the economy getting tanked numerous times, the fact that politics and politicians just went down the fucking into the sewers during our time. The 80s and 90s were a fucking gong show, right?
The crack pandemic, right? That was the other thing, or the crack epidemic. That was another. I call it systemic racism. Call it just systemic. Call it Reagan wasn't in charge of that. But we can ultimately put the blame on politicians. But I always feel that's easy. It's easy to do that because ultimately people still made a choice, right? I'm not blaming the people either. I'm saying it is systemic in the sense that, for example, for the African American community or the Black community, it's America is like, they have the blueprint on how to systemically, through economy, strip them, and then through, you know what I mean, and then through poverty, force their hand to go into the crack epidemic and be like one of the leading receivers of that drug, right? And then and then you see where that went. But this is why context matters, right? And this is why this show is important, because my hope for it is, and yours as well, is to break down these stereotypes that are either rooted in a lie, or are rooted, or are conveniently missing big chunks of history that led to it, right? So, of course, leaning on you to carry that side of this show, but with the history lesson, you're like, bro, I don't know anything about that.
No. I did want to say one thing that you mentioned. So you had the crack epidemic, and absolutely it was racially driven, but at the same time, something else was happening that was absolutely fucking criminal. Like late 60s, early 70s, this started, and they had already ghettoized the cities, right? They had already, you had your black neighborhoods, you had your white neighborhoods, your Asian neighborhoods.
What do they call that? Redlining, I think it's called.
I think so. Yeah.
Where like the housing market, like they purposely would.
That was Oregon, where they said you can't buy in this area, and it became illegal for someone
like blatantly would say that, which is
the rules were on the books until like a decade ago. Still, they just hadn't gotten rid of them. But in Portland, that was the case.
Yeah.
But what they were doing is they saw that they'd lost the civil rights movement, and they needed to somehow get that power back, right? You can't, very, very fragile individuals, right? The racists. And what they ended up doing is they started shutting down all the factories. The factories were in those ghetto neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But what they did is they started shutting those factories down and moving them way out of town, right? What did that do? Now mom and dad, they have to get on a bus and ride that bus for 2 hours, 3 hours to get to the job in the morning and then to come back in the afternoon. The kids are now coming home. There's no one home. Mom and dad both have to work because they're not getting a fair wage. They have to commute 4 to 6 hours a day, so they're not around to be there when kid comes home. What does kid do when he comes home? He's not going to go sit inside, have a snack, and do his homework. He's going to go out down on the corner and hang out with his friends. And now they're getting into trouble. Now there's someone guidance there trying to sell them something. There's no guidance. There's no family. That community is crumbling. The family is crumbling. And that was a conscious effort these organizations did.
It's an evil genius move, if we're being honest. Like I'm saying, like, when it was happening in the moment, do you think people were like, oh, this is what they're doing, like, in the moment? I feel like they did, right? It was a wool that was pulled over everyone's eyes, and then only do you see it manifest like years later, and now you're like, look, and now it's too late, right? Like, now we can't fix that generation. That generation got fucked, right? Now it's like, but how do we, like, I was watching a Kevin Hart interview the other day. He was talking about you only understand the system being against you when you're out of it.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't really see it when you're broke. And he was talking about, he's like, him growing up in Philly, right? He was like, they have what was he saying? He's like, they have a cash checking or check cashing stores in the ghetto. It's always in the areas that are less developed. And then and so he says
predatory.
Yeah. And then he's like, because it's like they want you to spend your money, right? They want you to influence you to whatever little money you made on a check, go cash that shit and spend it. And then he was like, they don't promote like savings. They don't promote investing. None of that is ever talked about in those communities, right? Not in their school systems, not even like through high school. Even they don't talk about that. So
when you're not even making 80% of what you need to run your life, why even bother talking about savings, right?
Of course.
But the real evil shit about those places isn't even the check cashing. What's the neon sign right next to get your checks cashed here?
Oh, liquor stores.
No, payday loans. That's the bullshit that is really bad, right? And there was a huge case action a few years ago that ended up coming down, at least in Canada, and I know the same thing happened in the States, where that was the issue. And that's the next thing. It's come get your check cashed. It's never enough because we're skimming off the top here quite a bit. Then it was, oh, well, your check hasn't come yet. You need money?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you money a few days early based on your previous checks, but now we're going to charge you something like it's exorbitant. Once you put all the fees and everything in there, you're looking at like 20 or 30% for like a 6-day loan on something.
Yeah.
And it's things like that, right? Yeah.
But it's things like that. There is also liquor stores though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I'm saying like it's promoting spending your money on addiction essentially, right? It's like can we numb the pain? Can we go as far as saying that they attempted a similar system with the Native Americans, right? The indigenous, the casinos, alcohol's free, right? Like it's like, why is alcohol free for a certain group of people? And I mean that in the sense of like, what did they do to deserve that? Does that make sense? Like it's like
in a negative way.
Yeah, in a negative way. Why are we promoting? Listen, I don't drink. It's not a secret, but I don't have any problem with someone being a casual drinker or whatever. But when you try to wash them into getting something because it's free, and it's like you've already taken everything else from them, right? And it's like it's a psychological warfare, right? I would call that. It's like psychologically you're damaging them for generations. And the biggest gripe I always have with our own community, especially the elder ones, and I'm not stereotyping, but I'm saying the numbers, if you have conversations with enough Gen Xers and up, right, in the Iranian community, they don't see that, right? They don't
really. Yeah.
At least my experience. Maybe I'm. Maybe
no, you're right. You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
They don't see that, and they do see the same bullshit they went through in Iran, right? They do see all the oppression in their country, but they're not able. For some reason, empathy lacks with them. They victimize themselves, okay? And I empathize with that. Of course, you and I know, like that's what we're fighting for, to free them. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but in America, and I don't know how it is in Canada, but in America, they are doing the same thing. It's just much more hidden, or at least it's much more not even as hidden, but they build the laws around it to make it okay.
So when I was in Iran, I spent 3 years in Iran. You know this, and I ended up getting stuck there for a while because of the military service, and I didn't want to serve because what am I going to do in the fucking military?
Go check out that episode of Fumble because Mo was on. He was talking about it.
So while I was there, the one thing I would tell people, because they would say, "Oh man, you guys have it so good back in North America," because that's the image that they see, right? They're watching, essentially, they're seeing what they're seing on TV, and they're hearing what their families are calling back and saying, right? And usually it's always positive. And what I would say to them is, I said, it's no different. And I would say it in Farsi, تو ایران با بی قانونی پدرتو در میارن اینجا با قانون پدرتو در میارن. So
that is
in Iran it's the lawlessness that they fuck you over with, and here it's with the laws that they fuck you over with. But it comes down to something else too, and it's what they use to control people with, right? In Iran, it's control through fear, whether that's fear of religion, whether that's fear of getting, a baton hit to the head, where it's a fear of getting arrested and tortured and murdered. That's the fear. It's fear that runs everything. In North America, what they've done, and the brilliance of it, is let's numb everything. Let's give them everything that they need to be distracted. So it's control through distraction. And the nice thing is that with that distraction, you're creating a scenario where people are going to put themselves in that cycle of fear. Because what is it? It's, you've got access to everything. You've got nowadays, why is it that as soon as the economy starts crumbling, we're entering probably the worst recession we ever had, highest inflation numbers in decades. This is happening. And just before you saw the largest decriminalization and legalization of marijuana. Don't get me wrong. Thank you very much. But why did it happen now? why are they trying to do this? In Quebec and in Canada, in several of the provinces, so Ontario is like this and Quebec is like this, the government can only sell weed. In Quebec, it's very controlled. In Ontario, they actually you can get a license through them and sell it as an independent. But in Quebec, it's only the government that can sell it, and it's heavily taxed and heavily controlled and all that sort of thing. But now there are more SQDCs, which is where it's being sold, in Starbucks that you'll see out in the streets. They are everywhere, and it's the government basically, and it's the only thing that you'll still see lineups coming out the door and people are willing to spend their money on, because they're tired, there are no jobs, they're doing horribly, and this is one way to forget about it. And while you're forgetting about it, you're not dealing with your problems. You're not dealing with your problems. It's getting worse. And now you're instilling your own fear. Now it's the fear of the bills. Now it's the fear of when's the next paycheck. Now it's the fear of, how do I get out of this situation? So at the end of the day, it comes to fear, right? Marketing is 90% fear, right? I'm never going to no one's ever going to love me if I don't buy this deodorant. Right. If I don't have a home, I'm never going to have children. If that's your problem. Yeah. If that's your particular issue.
Listen, if you have, if you're that desperate for love that deodorant is the deal breaker, I'm sorry for you. Okay. I think we got to have a deeper conversation about what else is happening in your life.
No, I'm talking about the ads, right? It's the poor guy with the pit stains, and like people are looking at him funny. The girl's kind of like,
how the fuck? Yeah. Those market research meetings have to be the most funniest things I've ever been. Like, imagine just sitting down. It's like, all right, we need people to fucking buy our deodorant, and they got to be scared. How do we put fear in them? It's like, well, just look at them funny. Like, we ridicule them into buying it. And then there's just like this homeless guy probably like hearing this, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I guess we got to call them unhoused now. That's the thing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, but literally it's the ads. Think of them. It's either, the ones where you're going to get a white stain on your black clothes when you're going out on a date. Oh my God, how embarrassing. The date's going to be ruined. Or you have a job interview. Is your deodorant strong enough for your job interview? Like, these are the themes of these commercials.
It's always how they smell themselves. It's like no one does that ever. Yeah. But it's
I've done that before.
Is this about you? Are these ads like directed towards you, bud?
Yeah, there you go.
It's love me, Pej. No,
I smell good, I swear.
Thank God this is over Zoom. No, it's that glass was so Persian, bro. I just saw it.
It is.
Fucking. Listen, right? Ladies and gentlemen.
Tea in this.
You can get. The more cuts are in a glass, the more Iranian. Like, the more Iranians have worked on it. Like it's in a group. They just come, each of them get a cut. And sometimes I'm like, what in the hell is the shape of that? Like, how did they come up with that idea of like the design? And, it's funny.
We had we got some cups that someone brought to us from Iran, and I'll have tea in this next time if I don't, maim myself in the process. But they're beautiful glasses. They kind of look like pyramids, and then the handles are just, imagine like a triangular shard of glass. There's no hole. You can't grip. It's smooth as hell, and it's a hot drink, and so and you're trying to hold this thing, and it's the most impractical thing you could possibly have. But
that's the fucking system, it was all the rage. Bro. That's the system. They're trying to get you to buy more glass. Break it, come buy more.
Fuck,
man. No, I get it. And then it's so small. I'm like, I'm American, so I need everything in supersized, like 7-Eleven. But
TT.
Yeah, man. This so what do you think? This is I feel like we're gonna have some fun with this show.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Absolutely. No, it's feeling right. It's feeling good. I hope people enjoy our take on stuff. So we'll see.
By the way, I want to open this up to, our potential followers and listeners, which we appreciate, in all seriousness. Get involved, comment on the videos. Let us know, like, Are you excited for NSYNC reunion? Like, how many millennials are listening to this? Like, how many of you were also lactating when you found out NSYNC is reuniting? You know, like, because I did, and it was a very interesting evening.
Changed the shirt 3 times. It was
especially
really
because I was in a parent-teacher conference, and when it happened, so it was not really helpful. The student was petrified, but he did buy deodorant, so it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, I used that as a callback. But yeah, let us know. What are your thoughts on the system? Are you in a situation where you can see that the system is broken and it's tailored towards a specific demographic? All things. Taylor Swift bringing like 20,000 people with her to the Kansas City Chiefs game yesterday. What was that about, right? Because she's dating Kels, I think. He's
is that official now? Is that
it is.
Oh, okay.
I saw a tweet earlier, or an X, whatever it's called. I saw a tweet earlier. Isn't that what they changed it to? It's X.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. That's what Elon Musk does. He buys a company, pisses all over it, and renames it and pretends
puts letters everywhere. Yeah, he just puts letters in all different shapes. But anyway, I saw a tweet. It's like Kelsey is his last name. I can't remember. Travis Kelsey, I believe.
Right.
Anyway, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But is like when he was dating his ex, full beard, and as soon as he dates, as soon as he has a picture with Taylor Swift, he's got that like police mustache that's not going.
Oh, they really
like the type of cops that don't read you your rights.
Yeah, the porn stash.
Yeah. That was like, damn, bro, that's such a Tennessee stash. You're not even playing for them. That's crazy. But so that's the news today, right? Is NSYNC, Taylor Swift, and then the revolution in Iran, which gets the third. It's actually third on the list when you look at the news in America. So
so has Taylor Swift? Has she already planned the breakup? Is the single already? Do we have the release date for the breakup single for this guy or not? Not yet.
I don't know. I'm waiting. It's got to be after the NSYNC, the new album. I gotta say, right? And someone please help Britney Spears. Jesus Christ!
You see the knife dance? Was that recent or was that?
That makes sense because she was married to a Persian guy. So did she learn that?
Right. But that is not like any knife dance that I have ever seen. I don't know what that was.
Imagine like as the groom waiting to get that knife to cut the cake. Yeah, that's Absolutely. A very inside Persian wedding joke. For people who don't know, there's a knife dance in weddings and
birthdays.
And birthdays.
I always had it at my birthday too. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Iranians will dance at whatever excuse you give them. Right.
That's
if
true.
you did, if you had like a changing the tire dance, well, every time they had a flat, they'd be dancing with the spare as they come out.
That's how they got the flat, actually.
It was dancing while driving
with the knife. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's funny. But anyway, yeah, I guess Persian birthdays, and it's when the cake is out, right? And it's time to eat the cake. They make you earn it. You got to pay them. Right, you give them money to get in return. You get the knife. Some of these knives can range from $5 to $10. At my wedding, it cost, I think, like $85. It was a very hard negotiation, but anyway, if it was Britney doing it, there would be no groom because his neck would have been cut. But
it was a messed up video. That was a messed up.
No wonder
video.
her husband left. But yeah. So she's no longer married, as you know. I think she cheated on him. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She also cheated on Justin Timberlake like 25 years ago. But full circle, circle of cheats. It's that's what's going on in her career right now. I'm happy she's no longer under the conservatorship, but it also fucked up her sense of normalcy. Like she doesn't know how to just live, and I feel for her. On a serious note, but also like therapists, like,
her dad was definitely doing her dirty, right? And that was 100%. That was horrible what was going on. But
now people are saying like this might be why he was doing that. But I don't I don't
know
think
if this is why he was doing it. I think he was doing it because it was a great payday and he was really taking advantage of it. And he was running roughshod on her. But it begs the question. I don't think she should have full control over, her finances and her, because there's something going on there, right? This person is absolutely going through something. She needs the support. She needs to make sure that she doesn't have access to things that are going to make it worse. She needs help. She obviously wasn't getting the help with dad because he was focused on other things, but it doesn't mean that she's healthy enough to be left alone and independent to her own devices, because we've seen a lot of really, and I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a clinician, I can't say this, but I think most people who would watch some of the things that she's been putting out there would say she needs some help. She needs some love.
Yeah, I think you're that part, the love, and it's not any love. I think it needs to be a specific type of tough love on top of someone who would go through the trenches with her. Like, I'm going to be here for you. I don't care how many knives you want to juggle. It's okay. Just I'll stay a little bit away so you don't catch me, because you need me here. You can't. I need to be here for you. Anyway, yeah, I think her sister and her also Jamie Spears and her are also like don't have a real relationship right now either. So
that sucks.
it sucks, man. Yeah, you see like a pop star queen go through something like this, and mental health is everything at the end of the day.
So we were talking about distraction, right? And we talked about a few of the ways that's used as an instrument, and a lot of this stuff as well is a distraction too, that is there to essentially, it's kind of like a magician, right? Look at the left hand while the right hand is doing the trick, right? And stories like this
I always look at my left hand while the right hand is doing the trick.
Is doing a trick, yeah, absolutely.
It's a one-man show. I told you, that's all I do.
But well, now it's hard to segue from masturbation to anything serious. But
what are you talking about? I'm talking about doing my homework, bro.
One-handed piano. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Work those keys, my brother. But the world is absolutely gone apeshit. Like, things are, I like to call it, it's a dumpster fire at this point. You've got the Canadian Prime Minister celebrating a neo-Nazi by accident in Parliament.
I saw that.
Right, with Zelensky, right? And he was there, and they're saying that President Zelensky was very embarrassed by this, and then now the opposition, the Conservatives, are jumping all over it and saying that this is the biggest. Even though he never was the person that invited him, he was invited by the Speaker, who's a neutral party, but still. They're saying that he should have known, and he definitely should have known, that he was bringing in a World War II Nazi volunteer. Like, we're not even talking about a conscript here. We're talking about someone who volunteered to go and fight for the Nazis. And he ended up being a part of this celebration, and he was mentioned as being this incredible individual. And now the Prime Minister's backpedaling on that, and that's front page news in Canada. In the States, you've got some sweet news about Trump and the one verdict that came down, and they're talking about dissolving some of the major parts of his organization, which is incredible. They're seeking about like $250 million in fines, and it looks like they'll probably get it. Of course, he's going to wrap this up in appeals and whatever for years. Then you've got Biden, his the push to do, have his impeachment trial going, because, just like any sane adult who's responsible for the lives of 300 million people, and, the more nuclear weapons than they know what to do with, is to play tit for tat. You did it to my president, I'm going to do it to yours type of a policy.
It's fickle. It's just fickle shit.
It's bullshit. It's all it is a way to distract people, right? Yeah. Distract you from
what's really happening behind the scenes. That's what we need to be.
Yeah. Exactly.
No politician that you voted for should be allowed to have a closed door meeting. and that happens all the fucking time. They're working for you, not the other way around. And that people forget about that because people don't want to be someone's boss.
Yeah.
Society likes to do the vote part. Unam bezur, like they barely go because I don't blame them because the options are dumb and dumber. But it's like they do the vote and then like, okay, I'm done. I'll come back in 4 years or in 2 years for the primaries if you're lucky. But like, it's like, come on, like you are the manager. The interview is what this guy's history books are showing you, what this guy's track record are showing you. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I voted for Biden, but what are my options? Right? It's like, what's Biden got the rub from Obama, which Obama again
and fucked Bernie, right? Like that. Yeah. Let's just admit it, call it what it is.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. And I've never claimed to know be a political person. I've never claimed to be an expert. I know the minimal, and that's something I'm working on to educate myself more. But at the same time, if I'm really honest, I'm like, we don't like this whole system is backwards because it's not tailored to the people. You're voting to screw. You're basically voting for the next person to screw you. It's like and that's been going on. I feel like since I don't know, like the last good president that America had that was for the people got assassinated, which is Kennedy. So, and that's in my humble opinion. But I think after Kennedy, it was just a bunch of, I think, fear again, because I think Kennedy went off script. Trump also, in a way, went off script. And
or it was a new script, but
sure. But a lot of Republicans don't like him. A lot of Democrats don't like him. But that's the problem is we put on these masks. We're like, oh, I'm a Democrat. Oh, okay, I'm a Republican. I hate everything you're for. And in return, you hate everything I'm for. And that becomes our motivation to vote, which is asinine. Because remove that mask and you're two human beings with needs and necessities and fucking connect on that level because that's what we all have in common. That's the same problem I have with religion. But anyway, it's fucked. And it's like until we completely strip this capitalistic system to its core, I feel like we're doomed to have another Great Depression. So
if we don't already have, if we're not in the middle of it already. But here's the thing, and we just haven't been told yet, so we're not gonna say it. But tell me this: is it not a fucked up system? Like maybe this made sense 100 years ago when you had to travel by rail or carriage to get to the Capitol to vote. It took you a couple months to get out there, or however long. Sessions were shorter. It was, several months. And then you had to kind of travel back to your constituency. It was difficult to find out what people actually wanted. You didn't have access to that information readily. It made sense to elect someone for 4 years because you just couldn't get anything done. But what job in this day and age where literally you'll wake up in the morning and by the evening, the world has changed context completely. In a world like that, isn't it strange that we hand over power to somebody for 4 years and say, go do whatever you think is best now. I've given you a mandate. Go away for 4 years, and I'm not even going to ask any questions until you come back. I'm going to give you a blank check. If you're going to go to the store to grab beers and we're pitching in, I'm going to want my change when you come back. I'm not waiting 4 years to find out what the hell's going on, right? So that just doesn't make sense in a day and age where millions of people are voting on a weekly basis on America's Got Talent or, the other reality show. Are we really saying, or you can go online and do your taxes, probably the most important thing for the government and the most, thing that has to be the most secure for you. We're able to do that online. Why aren't we able to let our elected officials know what we want them to do in a real-time basis? We've got the technology, the security is there. It makes absolute sense. Why are we not up in arms about the fact that we're giving people blank checks for 4 or 5 years, depending on Canada or the US?
Discomfort. That's why.
Hmm.
It's uncomfortable to demand shit from someone you're voting for, or in this case, something that majority
Really?
of the. I'm only telling you this because I was on the other side, and I'm training myself slowly to be on the side of like learning about what the fuck is going on. Willful ignorance is promoted. Willful ignorance is glorified. Easy is advertised on the hour, every hour in America. That is all by design. And look at our food industry, one of the worst. It's quick. It's always about fast, easy, go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think about anything. Just keep going, right? That's it trickles into the loans that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It trickles like you don't know what you're doing until it's after. Just like you said, are we in the Great Depression now, or is it going to be told to us later? That right there is the issue. And I've seen statistics by people who are trying to fight. They're like, guys, wake up.
Yeah.
Statistics from 1929 and now, right now is way worse. The ratio, right? Than the Great Depression. I'm so
worse than the French Revolution, right? We passed the French Revolution numbers like last year. No, but what I'm saying is heads have rolled for less, literally, and that's where we are sitting right now.
But the thing is, it's all fake. It's all fucking. It's a film. We're in a fucking movie. Like we're in a movie that no one wants this movie to end. Like, or they don't even know they're in it. That's the thing.
I didn't buy a ticket. Fuck.
Oh, you did. That's you did. I saw you. No. But yeah, it's the fear of having to work for something, having to earn it, right? There are the number of people who are understanding that. I am optimistic. It's on the rise. It's getting better. And these people are going to, and they're right now in those closed door meetings trying to figure out how do we get them to do the next thing. I don't know why it sounded Southern, but
they were quite animated. There was that too.
Yeah. How do we get to them? What is this internets? We need to get on top of these internets.
These internets. But I think the tolerance for it is going down. Right. And for us, so for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't, but the work that we've been doing over the last year and the revolution that's going on in Iran and trying to raise awareness and really all the gut wrenching stuff that we're going through that we don't really want to get into, we don't want to get into that a lot because we spend a lot of time depressed and lamenting and really grinding for what's going on there. But it relates to what we're talking about right now, because we were acutely aware of the bullshit and our tolerance level is very low, not because of what we're seeing back home and we're experiencing there, but what we're actually seeing here and what the government is doing in supporting those terrorists that are in power, the Islamic regime that's in Iran, and the IRGC and really that leadership elite that's there. And the recent release of nearly $7 billion. Again, everyone's sitting here splitting hairs saying, well, it wasn't America's money. It was there. Yeah, it was money that was blocked because of sanctions, because it's a terrorist regime trying to build a nuclear weapon to fuck the world up. And so that money was being withheld for that reason. Then you have, 5 prisoners being released from Iran and 5 being released in America. And apparently
not the ones with the death sentence, by the way.
Not the ones with the death sentence. They're actually people who, a few of them are lobbyists. There's a guy who shares my last name who's a fucking piece of shit and is a lobbyist for the Islamic regime. We're not related. We just have the same last name. And I've gotten a lot of heat for that. Actually, it's been pretty ignorant.
Can I see your ancestry? Actually, I need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some DNA tests or something. But the really crazy shit is that 2 of the prisoners that were released from Iran, we don't even know their names. They didn't release their names even. So there are these 2.
But we sit on our hands about that. We don't fucking question that. That's the work that's not being done. That's what I'm saying.
And then you hear that Well, they're releasing 5, apparently, maybe 3, and the 2 of them were just whatever. And then they're releasing 5 Iranians who all of them were either spies or terrorists, right?
So they're not
Stealing
Iranians.
state secrets. They're doing whatever and selling those to the Islamic Republic. Plus, they're getting, 6 billion plus on top of that. And it's a fucked up deal. And we've been trying to let them know that, what they're doing is wrong. And again, they opened the door to an additional, I think the number was close to 200 billion to be released, because this set the precedent for the others to be released, where something like 30 billion is in the hands of China, who will, like that, give it over to Iran, and other countries that are sympathetic with Russia and China and Iran. We didn't have access. We couldn't be heard. We couldn't go out there. I remember we had an initiative where I think it was every Tuesday and Thursday, we would give the number out for the White House, where people could call in and leave messages about their, about how unhappy they were about this. Petitions were being signed. People were writing emails to their state representatives. It still went through. We didn't have access. And I think the tolerance level is coming down. That's what we're seeing in those younger generations. And the ones that are younger than us are just turning around and going, this is fucked up. And I do not see any reason why we're doing this. It's no longer what it was for us, which is prove to me why we should change it. They're coming out and saying, prove to me why it's this way. And it's that intolerance for the system that I think is going to drive that change, is this idea of, no, don't tell me I have to justify why we have to change it. You justify why we've been doing it this way for so long and it hasn't changed. You justify it to me. And I fucking love those kids for doing that and just standing up and saying no and showing a big middle finger to the establishment, to the patriarchy. It's beautiful.
Now it is beautiful. And the woman who started it all initially, and then the Gen Zs in Iran anyway, and in Afghanistan, they also started. Look how quickly Taliban kicked out all the women from their schools. They saw what happened, right? That's how much power, that's how much smoke there is with this revolution. So don't look at the situation in Afghanistan and blindly say that's an isolated incident. It's not. They're neighbors with Iran, and they realize, they saw the woman life freedom starting to happen in Afghanistan, and it was by no coincidence that they got kicked out shortly thereafter. Anyway, but yeah, the tolerance level is going down. But my thing, and I'm like the happy-go-lucky guy who's always trying to be positive about shit, but I'm also not naive. I understand it's a process. I understand that it's going to take this game of chess to finally checkmate them into being like, you have no other moves. Like, you can't keep hiding. There's no more walls to hide behind, right? And it's like, when is that going to be? When is that day, right? And it's like, these guys, to me, my theory on all of this, and I know that, like, part of the reason in Iran the tolerance is at 0 right now is because it's been 44 plus years of the same fucking iron being shoved up everyone's ass, and people are tired. People are fucking over it. What I think the difference is, the only difference, in my opinion, between the system that operates in the Islamic Republic and what's happening currently and has been happening in the United States and the system of presidency, the only difference is that they take that Band-Aid off every 4 or 8 years and they give you a new one. But it's a Band-Aid on a wound that's never going to heal. Yeah. It's a wound in America that's been dated to its infancy, and it's the Band-Aids are either through a president that tells you everything you like, literally what Khomeini did to the sheep, and then they let him in. And it's like, these presidents do that every 4 years. It's like, the Democrats are doing this and that, and this is what we need to do to change it. Okay, cool. and people just, all right, or they're like, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying, or the other side, the Republicans are doing this and that. They take human rights issues and they make it political, and they blame it on the other side.
Yeah.
But the truth is, there is no other side. It's two sides of the same coin.
Absolutely.
And that is what America's getting closer to, is realizing that. I see it with the younger generation here.
Is it though? Is that happening? Because
I feel the world is getting smaller and smaller because of the internet. And this is why net neutrality was pushed so heavily, right? They realized they were trying to control the internet in America, bro. Yeah. A free country. Yeah. So that's how fucking scared they were. The government was like, oh shit, they're gonna catch all our bullshit.
Yeah.
Or just don't have bullshit. Like that's like
exactly.
You know, like why? But it all this onion, like in Shrek, you know, he's like, we gotta peel this onion and see what we get to. Yeah. That's literally we're like at the last little part of that onion. And I have comics and other friends who are not Iranian that are researching the shit that's happening in Iran, because either I posted it or another Iranian friend of them has posted it, and they're like, bro, this is like, they're starting to see it. They're like, we have some of these same issues here. It's just
it's different.
It's the same. It's delivered differently. That's all.
Yeah.
Like the George Floyd, one of millions of examples, is Mahsa Amini in Iran. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but Mahsa Amini Gina Jun got the attention it deserved because they were doing that from 79 till now.
Yeah.
And some can argue they were doing it before that too, but whether Shah was just turning a blind eye or not, you know that better than I do. But anyway, bottom line is I think what we just talked about in a little bit over an hour is exactly what I wanted this podcast to be about. It perfectly encapsulated us having fun, joking, talking about real shit.
Yeah.
And then, also bringing in the audience, bringing in the listeners. We need to spread the word. By the way, they're trying to control the internet. They couldn't be as successful with the net neutrality bullshit. Now they're paying these major social media platforms to do it for them.
Happened in Canada.
You're telling me all the time. Yeah, you don't see the change.org website, right?
It's not that we don't see it. So what happened is, in Canada, they passed a law, and it was about compensating news outlets appropriately. But I would never assume that I'm more intelligent and would be able to see the writing on the wall, but our people in government don't, right? They may choose to not see it, but I'm pretty sure they saw what we all saw was going to happen. So they passed this law. It becomes very distasteful to Facebook. And if you're not going to grab the two biggest markets, or at least one of the bigger markets, like in the States, and make sure that you're putting these laws in at the same time, you're going to get what ended up happening. And so what Zuckerberg and Meta decided to do was block news from Facebook and Instagram in Canada. So if you want to share an article from a news outlet, CNN, CBC News in Canada, you're not actually able to do that anymore on Instagram or Facebook or on any Meta, any platform. Change.org, which is a site for petitions, they've categorized as a news website, and we're not allowed to share petitions even. So can you imagine the hit to democracy and the hit to freedom of speech, where you aren't even allowed to circulate petitions? You're not allowed to share news anymore. And this happened overnight. One day we woke up, there was something on the radio about it. Coming soon, you won't be able to do this on Meta platforms. I literally went later that day to share something, was a petition to share about Iran and a refugee that we're trying to help in Turkey. And I couldn't share it. I couldn't share the petition. So I have to get you in the States to share it, tag me, so that I can then share your story. And that's a way around it.
Yeah.
But
you
all they're doing is
you still can't add the link yourself.
I can't add the link myself. No.
Yeah.
I can just share your story.
Yeah.
So this is how they do it, right?
Well, that was my decision. I just needed you to depend on me a little more, okay? And I talked to Trudeau. I was like, listen, only Mo's account, nobody else, right?
Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? No one else? This hasn't been rolled out for anyone else? Yeah. Oh, my God.
And Pornhub is no longer allowed on your computer either. Yeah.
So. Well, I wouldn't even know. So that's perfect.
It's working. Yeah. It's just for you and in Utah. That's it. Nice. Yeah. You know, they banned it in Utah, right?
Did they? That's hilarious.
And then one of my friends made a joke. It's like, watch the next school shooter come from there. I was like,
a lot of pent up frustration.
Yeah. He's not shooting his load, so he's gonna shoot his load.
Oh God. That was terrible. That was terrible.
That's me. I'm terrible. Dude, yeah, it's they're sloppy, man. These government agencies, these politicians, they're old heads. They don't even know how to fucking, like, they still, they probably text with their pointing finger. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of people that are trying to make these laws. So it's all half-assed, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm hopeful, because they're only going to get older, and then on top of that, I guess you could be 100 and be president. And that's like, it's just like, it's ridiculous. We got to change it. Got to change it. And if that's not in like some next proposal for America, like, I don't understand. And if it doesn't get the attention that it needs, but it's out there, it tells you everything you need to know about the control that they're trying to desperately hang on to. These old, there needs to be an age ceiling. We already have it on the other side. You must be over 35, I believe, to run for president.
Something like that, yeah.
And I believe you got to be married too. That's the other thing.
Oh, really?
I believe so. But
didn't a president get married in the White House? I remember going to the tour, and they said that a certain president got married in the White House. He was a bachelor, and he got married in the White House. Yeah, I think so.
Was it a must?
Again, in the comments, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I'm no expert for sure. Mo knows a lot more than me because his name is Mo. And but otherwise, I just take a little bit of news and then I fabricate the rest. But no, I'm kidding. I don't fabricate. I try to be accurate, but I'm also open to criticism, and we're not here sitting, we want this to be a community. We're trying to build a cult, okay, guys? We're trying to make a cult, and Mo is going to have the Canadian division, and I'll have the Sherman Oaks division. They didn't let me get all of LA, but I'm working on it.
It's a big market.
Market. Yeah. Scientology is right down the street. We're going to try to get some funding from them. No, it's talk to us. We want, and give name suggestions. I came up with something stupid, but I thought it's a good double entendre, which is oily borders. Mo wasn't too thrilled about it. He thought he might not be able to access that website because he doesn't get Pornhub. But but anyway, what you said something else. You said borders with you said oily nipples.
No. What I said was slippery slopes is what I said. Slopes.
Yeah.
And then you said that's already a podcast. Someone else has that name already. And then I said, well, then slippery nipples. That was just a throwaway.
I love it.
There is a name that I like, and we talked about it. Maybe we'll talk about it again, but we won't bring it up now. But
okay. Yeah, all right. Let's
we can, I guess. No, we can.
Why not? Yeah, talk about it. I like this. We built this thing on the air. Like, I like that idea, because most podcasts, they already have the name, they already have everything, right? We're about bringing you guys in. Like, if you think, we may throw a few ideas and you guys vote, or you might say, hey, and then you give a better name, then you're hired, and then I'll kick Mo out, and then it'll just be
there. You go.
Yeah.
So this was the thing, because one of the concepts that we wanted here was we don't come with conclusions. right? We come here, we discuss things, and we kind of leave it open-ended for people to make their own decisions. We're not here to do that. And so, and we also couldn't come up with a name. And so I was thinking the TBD podcast, the To Be Determined podcast, because it's both name to be determined, but also the conclusions, the ideas, what we're talking about is to be determined. We're going to sit here and talk about it, get people's responses, and then we're going to make a decision. Then we're going to, see where we lay, and new information will always be considered. And so it's all TBD.
TBD. I like it. So TBD for now. This has been episode 1, the inaugural, I'll make it presidential. This is the inaugural episode. I don't have a speech though. Shit.
Do I have to sing you happy birthday in a slinky dress? Is that what's going to happen here if we're making this presidential?
That's right. But you can't share that link. Yeah.
And you don't want to see me in a slinky dress. That's the other thing.
All right. I already have. It's fine. I don't want the rest of the audience. We can't do this, Mo. Not on. There's a lot we can do, but we also don't want to lose audience first episode, is what I'm saying. We're
down to 2 listeners now.
Two listeners
from 5 to 4 and now 2. This is terrible.
If this was NSYNC, this is 2001 all over again. But anyway, chime in. We're gonna when you see this, if you like it, tell a friend, share it, help us out. We want this thing to be all rooted in love, comedy, truth, and conversation. That's the bottom line, is conversation. And neither of us are fools. We understand there is multiple truths. We understand that perspective is basically what this life is builds this entire world. So we want to learn about an opposite perspective. I'm open to hearing from someone who's on the other side of this and says, hey, no, we need this and that for these reasons. I'd love to hear that. But again, just maintain respect and be, approach it with love. And I feel like we can conquer anything, right? Hate is fake because it comes from fear, which is more fake than hate. So it's, we don't do that here, right? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down, and let's have fun while doing it. That's all I got, man. What do you want? Do you want to?
No, that's it.
Closing thoughts, like Jerry Springer, R.I.P.
No, I'm good. I think you summed it up beautifully, and we're just hoping to see this thing evolve over the coming weeks, and let's see where we end up.
I love it. So this will be released when it will be, and you'll see it because you just did. So for now, TBD episode 1 in the books. I'm Pej.
And I'm Mo.
All right, guys. Catch you on episode 2.
Peace out.